Hi there! Welcome to this week's Kids Craft Crew video. I'm here with Ada Community Libraries and I'm really excited to get started. Today's craft is called a treemendous creation, and we're not just making a tree, we're going to use real tree branches and things we have around the house to make a fanciful imaginary tree. So for supplies, we've got orange, brown, yellow, and green paper here. We've got some thicker white paper as well. We also have some colorful pom-poms. And we also have some googly eyes. These are self-adhesive, so they have little stickers that come off on the back. You'll also need to have some glue and scissors as well. I've also gathered some extra supplies for imaginative decoration. This could be glitter, leaves or flowers, paper clips or pencil shavings. As for me, I've got some brown string, I've got some colorful pieces of thread, and I have some rainbow polka dot tissue paper. The last supply that we'll need for this project are some twigs. We're going to use real twigs to make branches for our imaginary tree. So feel free to pause the video now to go outside and grab some twigs of your own. All right, and now we are back and we have some twigs so we can get started. As you can see, we don't need very many twigs, but you do want them to be as dry as possible. Having dry twigs really helps when it comes to gluing them down. And there are many ways of starting this project. What I'm going to do is lay out my twigs to map out the shape of my tree. But if you prefer, you can use the glue to make a tree shape, and then you can cut your twigs to match the shape of the glue. It doesn't matter what order you do in this part, just do whatever feels right for you. And when you're gluing the twigs down, if you have clear glue, you don't have to worry about being messy. The glue that I have today comes out white but dries clear, and since my twigs aren't completely flat, it's hard to glue every part of them to the paper. So what I'm going to do is make sure that parts of them are really glued down, and then I'm going to add extra glue to the areas that come up from the paper. Don't worry about getting glue on top of the twigs. If you've got clear glue, this will just make sure that the twigs are really secure on the paper, and when the glue dries, you won't be able to see it anyway. It just makes sure that they're really well stuck down. Alright, and now that I've got my twigs all glued down, we need to give our tree a little time to dry. And after a bit of patient waiting, we can come back and start adding details to our trees. First things first, I'm just checking that my tree is dry. My glue is actually still kind of tacky. That means it's sticky, but it's dry enough that when I add my imaginary decorations, the branches won't be moving around. So I'm going to get started with leaves. I'm going for some realistic type leaves and using my colored paper to cut out little almond-shaped leaves. You can use any color, shape, or size that you want, or your tree can have no leaves. It's up to your imagination and your vision. For my tree, I am going to be thinking of realistic details and then put my own imaginative spin on them. So I'm starting with realistic leaves, and then I'm going to add something a little bit more unusual. So I've got all my leaves laid out, and I'm also going to add some of my colorful tissue paper. I am going to cut out little sheets of this colorful paper, and I am going to use it as additional foliage. And so now you can see I am just gluing down these leaves, adding a little bit of glue or using some of the glue that's left over from my branches. All right, looks pretty realistic. And now I'm going to add some imaginary detail. I'm crunching up this tissue paper and I'm going to stick it down to my tree as if it's colorful, imaginary flowers or bushes or roots. So, some details that are kind of realistic and kind of imaginary as well. All right, and now another realistic thing about trees is that some trees have vines. I'm thinking about jungle trees with thick green vines that kind of look like snakes, but I want to do my own version with this purple thread. And I'm just going to drape it around my tree as if they were jungle vines, except purple and really, really thin. So here's my tree so far, combination of realistic and imaginative. And so now I'm going to get started on these colorful pom-poms. You can cut them up, you can use them whole, you can arrange them into a long caterpillar shape, or you can use them individually and pretend that they are fruit or flowers or pine cones. I decided to think of mine as little colorful furry creatures that will live on my tree like squirrels or owls. And I'm just going to glue them around my tree in the little spots that they live. And I've actually grabbed a pen because I decided that I want my creatures to have tall bunny ears. They're also each going to have one eye, like a cyclops from Greek mythology. I'm just peeling off the back of the googly eyes and sticking them down. They look pretty funky. And so with my animals added, I'm done with my creation, but we need to let them dry again, so we'll see you soon. All right, and we're back, and I've cleaned up my space, and my tremendous creation is dry and complete. I'm sure all of ours look very different, but that's the cool thing about this project. We all start with the same idea, a tree, and we get to use our own imagination to put a unique spin on it. So here's mine. I've got realistic leaves, colorful roots, purple vines, and little colorful one-eyed bunny creatures all over my tree. So I hope you enjoyed this project and join us next week. Thanks for watching.